on, guys? Welcome to Sexin and Flexin Live Sunday. We got my co-host Levi, and then we got DNT Retix and Graceful Serpent. We're gonna let them introduce themselves. Go ahead, guys.
Go ahead.
Well, we're DNT Retix. I'm Taylor. This is Dax. We started 2.5 years ago, and we breed reticulated pythons.
Hi, my name's Patrick Scarlato. I'm from Graceful Serpents. We've been breeding for this is our 4th year. We breed boas, colubrids, ball pythons, and we also build PVC enclosures.
Welcome in, Patrick, DNT.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, guys. Hell yeah.
Yeah, of course, man.
We appreciate it.
Sorry for missing the last one. We apologize for that.
No,
you good.
It happens, man. Life happens and happens fast.
But we're glad to be on, so thank you.
Yes, sir. So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Chris. So all you guys do is reticulated pythons. Do you guys own anything else pet wise or touch on anything else?
We used to have a tegu. After she passed away, we didn't get another one. We have a dog, and our daughter breeds ball pythons. So
we have a few venomous.
He has a few.
I have a few venomous. So but we mainly stick to retics. I mean, we've always loved the big snakes. It's awesome to have such a big animal around and just let it do what it wants and crawl all over you and do all that fun stuff. But I tried my hand at ball pythons. There's so many genes, and it's once one is made, it gets out there and the next thing comes up and it's always chasing. Where we seem to feel that the retic market is growing, but not as fast as the ball python, which is pretty good because it allows us to work with the genes a lot more than trying to chase everything else that's hot and out there. Because trust me, there's some nice ball pythons out there. There are. It's just too much, too fast, and everybody's always in a rush. Where on the retic side, we do what we can, we do what we want, and we plan our stuff accordingly. So it's just easier for that, in our end of the hobby. So that's why we love just doing it. And again, it's just a giant ass snake. That's the best part we love.
And we understand that retics are a very certain niche community. And ball pythons are much more approachable for beginning, people who are into reptiles or people who want to house more reptiles. But we just find that the size and the intelligence and the personalities that come with retics are just phenomenal. So that's why we love doing it.
That's awesome. I love it. Patrick, do you want to touch on the multiple species you listed off?
Right.
When it comes to snakes, but so we started off with boas, man. Until just this year. This year was the first year we produced anything outside of boas, bro. The last 3 years, a lot of our animals are boas. We got probably over 80 boas. We like them for the same reason. They take a lot longer to raise. Like they said, you're not chasing the market, man. The market holds value better because it takes a female 4 years to get to breeding size. You can't breed them in a year and a half. And then the stuff, like just the colors and the patterns and the mutations they're starting to come out in the boas is just it's insane. So it definitely keeps it interesting for us. They're medium snake. I mean, we don't have the room to house bigger snakes, or trust me, because I want a berm. One of these days I will have a pet berm. But right now the boas are perfect for us. They get 6-7 feet, you know what I mean? They're very manageable, so, and just the colors, the patterns, and then the corn snakes, the king snakes, the colubrids. I've always loved colubrids since I was a kid. My first snake 21 years ago was a corn snake. The first colubrid I ever produced a clutch from was a corn snake this year. So, we started with corn snakes and then we produced some milk snakes. We got some hognose eggs in the incubator right now. So we got our first ball python clutch this year, hatched it successfully. We just kind of expanded out a little bit just to where when the boas, ain't moving, a lot of times like the Clubridge will, and because we're LLC, we got to pay taxes, we got a big food bill. So, we try to keep those little things going, and they help us, manage our business a little bit better. And plus I really enjoy the Clubridge, so I'm a geek. I'm a Clubridge geek, you know that, bro.
I love it, man. I love it. That's I was super excited to have you two on. I mean, I'm a super fanatic of retics. I'm a super fanatic of the Super Dwarf, especially. And then colubrids and boas, you already know where my heart is, Patrick. So
You got one of my boas, huh? Or one of our
yeah.
boas.
Oh yeah, that girl's growing like a weed too. I'll pull her out later on in the show. So, question: we'll go from DNT to Patrick. Let's do. What are some of the struggles that you guys have faced over the last X amount of years that you've been in the industry? Especially with like breeding reticulated pythons. I mean, I'm not a retic breeder. I don't know very many retic breeders. I just know fanatics and people that keep. So I'm really interested in it. Patrick, I'm interested in some of the struggles you face with the boas, the colubrids, the ball pythons. It's a loaded question, so I'm prepared for the segment that this is going to take.
Yeah. Struggles. Getting babies to eat is the biggest thing for me. I mean, it's a pain. It really is. Out of 50 eggs, 48 eggs. I mean, there's at least a quarter of them that are not going to eat.
Wow.
It's a pain. It is. I don't. I mean, there's times where they've all eaten, but most of the time it's a percentage that really doesn't, and it's a pain to get them to eat, and then it's forever to, because we don't, as far as retics goes, as far as the business and the hobby, how we work is we don't sell any of our babies unless they've eaten frozen thawed 4 weeks straight in a row. They stop, you start the numbers back over again. So we don't sell to anybody because we look at it this way. That's another thing that is a kind of a pain in the butt about the hobby is a lot of breeders want to get their animals out quick. And we believe that if they're not eating frozen thawed, you're going to have a problem feeding live. Most people don't want to feed live. It's just a pain. So to cut down on that whole comeback situation of people writing bad reviews about you. You tell them, here it is, frozen thawed 4 weeks in a row. Here's the dates, what they eat. These are your animals now. They've eaten, So that's one of our sticking points is just getting the babies to eat. So that's the biggest part for us. Otherwise, the size, the females, we do great with. We don't have a problem keeping them. Getting them to breed, we let them do it on their own. We don't.
The easiest thing.
Yeah, it's simple. I mean, it's not hard at all.
It's like he said with the feeding, we came to that conclusion because when we were first purchasing retics and getting into it, we'd have some where they're like, oh, it's eating frozen thawed, it's eating live, it's eating pre-killed. And we came to the conclusion where we're like, some people might be 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours away from where they can get live. And it's not really beneficial for them if they're really wanting to purchase the snake to have to go that far every week in order to get food. So we came to that conclusion. We want to make it easier, more effective. We want to make it safer for the people who are feeding their snakes. Because when you get a retic that's getting larger, the larger the retic, the larger the prey you're going to need. And it gets very unsafe for not just the handler, but for the snake as well. If you have a jumbo rat that's live, that thing can tear apart a snake. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen how bad a rat can tear apart a snake, but it's very bad.
Oh, yeah.
So
rabbits can do damage too.
yeah, and we've never fed a live rabbit, a live pig, a live guinea pig. We do feed a variety to all of our retics, but it's always frozen thawed. So if the hatchling isn't eating frozen thawed yet, we'll start it off live, and then like he said, we'll transition it to frozen thawed. Make sure that it's eating before we put it on our table. And if we have any problems, we take it right off the table and start back over. But the breeding is probably the easiest part of it. I mean, our females let us know when they're ready. They stop eating. We wait 2 weeks when they've denied food. We throw in the male, stick them in there for 5 days, take them out, feed them, leave them out for 3 days, and stick them back in. So it's literally, they're just in there for 4 or 5 days together, hanging out, doing what they want to do. And Usually you'll know when they're done because they'll be on opposite ends of the enclosure. So if he's still cuddling with her, they're still doing the business. If not, then they're done, and she's like, all right, you did your job, you can go now.
Yeah.
So that caught me off guard. That was the last thing I'd expect to hear about retics. So the babies are the hardest to get to eat. That's
Bro, that shocked me too. I was
Yeah,
like,
right?
"Retics? Okay."
wow.
And it's not all of them. I think it's kind of like that natural selection kind of thing. Not all
Right.
of them are going to survive, even if they were in the wild. You know what I mean? There's some that take food right off the bat, like it's nothing. They're like, all right, I'm ready to go. I even still have my yolk, but give me food. I'm ready. And then
Typical
other
Reese's.
ones, we've had wait 6-7 weeks before they're like, all right, maybe I want to eat, maybe I don't.
Months.
And at that time, it's just, all right, let's cull them because they're not going to eat. It's just natural selection.
Okay. Now, real quick, on the side question for the main question, you guys have mentioned there's 40 to 50 eggs. How do you guys deal with that? I mean, like, I don't
Incubators.
know,
really
but
big
I don't know
incubator.
BOA numbers, but man, that's a large number.
That's even on, like, I mean, maximum, I think our friends out of our group have had probably in like 60s, like median 60s for retics. The average first clutch that you're looking at is usually around 15 to 20 eggs. We had a first time female this last season. She was 3 years old, had her first clutch. She had 14 eggs. So good number for a smaller female. Our girl that's going this year, she had 2 perfect clutches the last 2 seasons of 43 eggs and 47 eggs. So we're guessing probably somewhere between 54 to 56 eggs this year. So it's a lot to manage, but we've got a big incubator and lots of rack space downstairs getting ready for this year. So we've got 6 females that are hopefully going to go this year. So
Oh, ooh. I'm like 40 eggs each female. Like, wow. Okay.
You guys need a facility just for the retics. That's
Tell me
crazy.
about it. Tell me about it.
I think it's
We got
gonna
enough
take all
room, so.
15 of our boas to equal that, bro.
See, but that's one thing I would love to be able to
She's dying to do boys.
complete is I don't want to breed boas like all the time. I just want to do one pairing. I want to be able to witness the live birth. Like that's
That's
one
cool.
thing that I'm like, I want to fucking do it. But if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be IMG Motleys, and that's gonna be the only thing.
I got one.
That's it.
Speaking
I'm
Patrick's
so
language
jealous,
right
Patrick.
now.
I'm so jealous.
We got a few. Last year we paired our IMG Ghost Het Sharp to a Sharp Sunglow Jungle Motley. We got one that's a IMG Motley. We got an IMG Motley Hypo Jungle, and then an IMG Jungle Motley. So that we kept back, and they're all double Het Sharp Snows. So or Het Henry. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. IMGs are awesome. We're actually gonna have. If you guys are interested, you know, if you guys want to talk or whatever, I actually got an IMG albino paired to our Motley right now. So we're hoping for some IMG Motleys Het Sharps, and they're not gonna be, you know, nothing crazy. They're just single genes. So we're actually going for a couple pair of IMGs this year. So
Yep, 86 eggs.
Damn.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah. How many ball pythons does that take?
A lot, because the most they lay is what, 12? 12 or
what,
14?
That's a really
Yeah,
large
it's that,
female.
yeah.
that's
Usually,
like
I
a
think it's 8 to
5,000 gram
10.
premium. Yeah.
All right, Patrick, shameless plug here. Bust out one of your IMG mollies while you answer the question.
All right. See if I can do it without getting bit.
He said,
All right, here it is.
needless to say, he was building baby racks the next day.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
You don't
that's
expect
beautiful.
that? Yeah.
Chris,
Hold
solo.
on,
Yeah, I got you. Hold up.
Hold on, let me see if I can get it in the light better. Oh.
You're black.
Oh,
Yeah, there she is right there.
yeah, we're going to talk, Patrick. We're going to talk.
So we should have more of these from the same. The ones that we're pairing now, the IMG albino to the Motley. The Motley is extremely dark for a Motley. And then the albino IMG came from a really good quality breeder. So we'll make just as good quality IMG Motleys. So yeah, they're pretty fun though. probably one of my favorite mutations for sure.
It's good, brother.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome
You can
in.
go ahead and
Welcome in,
introduce
Boston.
yourself.
My name's Mike, Boston Boas.
There you go, boa guy.
Yeah, another boa guy.
Yeah, oh yeah, I only do boas.
Bro, I just like to bring everybody together, so I mixed it up.
No, that's hey,
I love it.
that's the
That's
way
the
to
best
do
part.
it right there. You know.
That's the best part.
So the question that we got going right now, Boston, is some of the struggles that you guys have faced with the animals that you deal with. Patrick is about to go. Patrick deals with multiple species, and then once Patrick goes, we'll get your answer.
Okay.
So we mostly breed boas. And I would have to agree. Sometimes getting the boas to eat, man, they can be a pain sometimes. You get your handful that just eat right off the rip. I've gotten boas to eat frozen thaw their first meals. And then it's taken 2 to 3 months to even get the boa to eat its first meal. So with the boas, I would have to say it would be the meals. With the colubrids, my biggest struggle with the colubrids is just like was trying to figure them out on how to breed. Like weight wise, like learning how, not to burn them, but to make sure their weight was right. You think, oh, they're adults, so they can breed. But they're like anything else. They gotta have proper weight. They gotta have. I learned that with our milk snakes this year. We burn them. We did everything right, but I think my females were a little on the thinner side, and my female only gave us 4 eggs. So I ended up talking to Dave from Arizona, and he gave me a lot of pointers. I made a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments. So I'm really excited for this upcoming year. That was my biggest challenge with them. And then ball pythons, I just suck with them, bro. I got lucky to get 1 clutch, but I struggle with ball pythons, man. I lost 2 clutches already due to incubators malfunctioning. We got a female getting ready to. She's building follicles now, so hopefully this will be our second successful clutch. But man, in all honesty, with stuff like that, I think it's just learning what to look for, how to do things. Because once you get that system down, it's pretty easy flowing like boas, bro.
Huh.
We can breed boas no problem. And I hear some people say like, "Hey, boas like are tough, dude," and they can be, but this is our 4th year breeding them, so we've just like studied them inside and out, bro. And we just know, like during the winter, we drop our temps. I start dropping my temps in like late August, mid-August, late August. I
Where do
actually
you
got a
live?
bank.
If you don't mind me asking, what state you in?
Arizona. That's why I have to
Okay,
drop my
so
temps.
you have to drop temps because you're in a hot climate. Where I'm in New
Yeah.
England, I don't drop temps at all because what happens is right around September, early October, like every day starts to get colder and colder and colder. So the barometric pressures in the air, start to drop normally into winter, and that mimics their wet, cold season in the wild. So I don't drop temperatures. I don't change nothing. I just
Well,
literally.
we're in October and it's 100 degrees still, bro.
Yeah, see, I'm in October and it's 67, 65. Yeah,
Big difference.
Damn.
that's what I mean. So you have to drop temperatures.
Yeah.
So honestly,
Yeah.
that's probably something. It's probably even harder for you. Like you said, you're having success, which is fantastic. But yeah, that's something that like people in New England don't have to really deal with. You really don't have to drop your temperatures as long as you have them on a yearly cycle, and you go within the same month or two every single. Like I usually start mid to late October every year, no matter what. So they're on like an internal clock. And once that weather starts to get cold, like you said, you're at 100 still. That's crazy. I can't believe that.
Going in the middle of October.
Amen to you. And if you don't mind me asking, what do you drop your temperatures to?
So we got an AC unit, or we got the AC.
Yeah.
There, I keep it closed during the summer. I keep the humidity high, and then when I go to breed, I open that. I stop the humidity. I run it 5 hours a day instead of 24 hours a day, and I believe we drop our room to like 78, 77. But that's a 10-degree drop to what it's normally from. We normally keep our room about 88, 89 degrees. So we drop it about 10 degrees, and I started pairing some boas in September here because they were showing some activity. I got pairs locked up right now. I got 4 pairs. I got one female almost ready to ovulate.
Oh, nice.
So
That's real good.
so, but now that we're dropping the temperatures, I think we got like 14 pairs paired right now. So we're
Boas,
starting to see a
14
lot more
boa
action.
pairs.
Yep.
Hey, just you've been doing it for 4 years. What is the most babies you produced in a season, like in the last 4 years?
100. It's been our
Okay,
biggest
so
number
yeah,
so far.
that's a good. But how that probably came from what, 5 or 6 mothers?
4.
4. See what I mean? I got 92
Wow.
this year out of 5. So imagine 10 or 12 out of 14 going. Oh my
Oh,
God, you're gonna have
we can have
you're
our
gonna
ass
have
for this year.
Damn.
Yeah.
But we got 14 boas, 10 ball pythons, and 10 colubrids. So altogether,
God
we're
bless
probably
you.
looking at over 300 babies this
Oh yeah,
upcoming year.
easy. You could get 200 plus just from if you got 10, 11 boas to go.
Boas,
You're looking at 200 plus.
Yeah.
That's
Patrick,
fantastic.
you're on
man.
our numbers.
That's
I
fantastic.
just have to breed a lot more animals.
Hell yeah. Damn.
Now, Patrick, can I ask you a question going back to colubrids real fast?
Yes, ma'am.
With the colubrids, do you find that it, like, I know with hognoses, breeding those with the hatchlings, you have to cut up babies, don't you? Like to
So
feed?
they say that, yes. And there was actually a couple corn snakes I had to do that with as well. I had a couple corn snakes that were real picky and not wanting to eat. So I started actually watching what hognose breeders were doing because I know they're like one of the pickiest, colubrids to get to eat. So when I started watching these videos, they calcium, they powder them, and then some of them cut their heads, some of them dip them in certain things. I tried the tuna, didn't work. I tried dipping them in certain things, it didn't work. What my biggest success was cutting their heads. It sounds nasty, but braining them is what they call it. Is where I've had my biggest success with getting some of our pickiest corn snakes to eat. So
Mm.
Do you find
that's
that the colubrids are the hardest to get started feeding?
so far, yes. So far, I would have to say yes. I have our first ball python clutch. All the babies ate their first attempt, did really
Beautiful.
well. But I actually had 2 corn snakes that were to the point where they were losing weight, where I had to cut off mouse tails. And I learned this from a clubrid breeder we had here in Casa Grande. His name's Leonard. He's been doing it like 30 something years. And what he would do is he cuts off the mouse tails off an adult mouse, and he'll
Yes, it is.
actually force feed them. And I actually tried that method on 2 babies that I couldn't get to eat, and they already got new homes. They already ate like 15 meals, and they're already on frozen thaw, and they boomed. So they're definitely the hardest for sure.
So we actually had to do that with some of our babies that we were helping from a friend of ours. He doesn't get out to do much shows, so he asked us if we could take his babies and help sell them. So we did. We had 3 of them, 4 of them, 4 of them that weren't eating. And so, I mean, ours are much bigger, so we can't use mouse tails. So we used large rat tails, cut them off, and you just force feed them right down. I had to force feed the first 2 or 3 times, and then I would assist feed just part of it, have them take the rest, and then they start eating. But I mean, just that minimal nutrition can help jumpstart them
Yep.
eating. So it works fantastic.
It does. I love the method. I'll use it every single time from here on
And
out.
it's so much easier to force feed a tail than it is an entire mouse.
And I feel it don't stress them out as much.
No, not at all.
Because a pinky rat's bigger, a tail is less strain, I believe. Like once I see it get halfway down, normally the baby just takes it on its own. Sometimes I only have to get it, a couple inches in, or sometimes I have to get it halfway down. But I've never had to literally force feed the whole entire tail. Normally about halfway down, it would kind of figure it out and then I wouldn't see a crazy lump in it or nothing. And to me, it just makes me feel like the animal is less stressed out that way.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's a good method. A really good one. Boston, what are some of the struggles that you faced so far? Well, I guess let's hold on. Let's go back, restart. I forgot you joined late. My apologies. You said you only work with boas. Do you have anything else that you work with pet-wise? How long have you been in the game?
Well, God, I've been in the game for a while, probably 14, 15 years. And I only breed boas. I have 2 Burmese pythons that I'm, with pets, male and a female. The female's about big enough now, so I might try to put them together this year. And then for pets, I got a couple of turtles. I got a couple of geckos, like one leopard gecko. I got a mangrove monitor. And then other than that, nothing really more. Just I think I have, I don't know, close to, with the babies I have now and the adults, I probably have at least 100 boas, maybe 110, So I'd say probably at least 50, 55 adults.
Nice. That's
So,
a lot
not
to-
a big collection, small collection. I probably, like last year, I bred 6 females. I got 5 out of 6. That resulted in 92 babies, which was beautiful. So I was very happy with that. But so some of the struggles I faced, in the beginning was just because I don't do anything with an ultrasound. So I don't have an ultrasound. I just go on eye. Like I'll be able to tell when my females are starting to build follicles from the way they're acting, from the way they're starting to show. And so I just do everything by eye. And I have the same yearly cycle where I put all of my snakes in right around the same time every year. They're on like an internal clock. So, but in the beginning, my first few years breeding, I would always make the mistake of taking the male out too soon, which I learned that real fast, and now if I'll leave a male in, even if I see an ovulation or whatever, I'll make sure I'll probably take him out after the post ovulation shed. I'll just still leave him in there. Or unless he's all the way on the other side of the cage for a week and a half, 2 weeks, after the ovulation, he wants nothing to do with her and she's bucking him off, maybe I'll take him out, but I leave him in right to the end. And I usually stop breeding about a week or 2 from now. I do have 1 pair going right now, a first year male, and he's actually starting to court her. So he's been on her. He's been trying to walk up with her for the last few days. But I'll probably stop breeding mainly, I don't know, late October, early November. But after I learned that, stop taking the male out too soon. Like I'd leave the male in for 2 weeks when I first started breeding. I'd see a few locks and go, oh, wow, it's got to be done, and I'd take them out and nothing would happen, or you'd get slugs. And I would always wonder why, oh, wow, I seen them locked up 6, 7, 10 times, but no. So that's, I would say to any new breeder, leave him in, I mean, take him out, offer food. What I usually do is 2 weeks on, I'll take them out. I'll offer both food. If they eat, they eat. I give them a 5-day rest. If they don't eat, I'll still give them a 5-day rest, and I put them back together. That way he don't breed himself to nothing. Because I've had males go off food for a while. I've had females not eat, after, for basically the whole time they're gravid. And then when they do drop their litter, they're nothing but skin and bone. So that's tough on you, to bring them back. But I don't know. Other than that, I've been pretty blessed. I've done pretty good. I've been able to just get my own little pattern down, and like I said, I stick to the same yearly cycle faithfully. I'll start upping food, right around, I don't know, late August, early September. I'll start upping the food on the females. Then I'll bring it down probably about a month before I start breeding, and I'll just introduce males. And like I said, in my area, Boston, right? I mean, I'm 3 miles from the beach. Not even, probably 2 miles from the beach. So it's cold out here already. It's probably in the 50s tonight here,
Damn.
So, the snakes just know that cold air comes in. They can feel that barometric change, and it, they start to go. I usually don't really see any heavy activity till probably about Halloween, maybe early November, but I'm already starting to see some now. So,
Nice.
That's pretty good. I'm happy about that. But I also face challenges with having 92 babies, getting every single one of them to eat, especially Nicaraguan, Central American stuff. Some of them don't want to eat, like my man said right here. They might not want to eat for 1 month, 2 months. You don't know. And then you're offering live food. They still don't want it. So I've had to assist feed babies for 2 or 3 months, until they started eating on their own. I've had babies right off the rip that'll just take anything live, like no problem. I've had ones that go on frozen thawed for their first male. So like right now, I would say I probably have about, I don't know, maybe 55, 60 babies left from this season. And I'd say still about 20 of them want live. They want nothing to do with the frozen yet. And they were born probably, I don't know, June, late July. So, those are some struggles.
Nice.
But other than that, I mean, where I only focus on boas, I've got my own little routine down, in which every breeder should just have their own little, way they do things. And if it works, it works. Like you say, you don't fix something that ain't broken,
Yep.
Very true.
Very true.
So,
Yep, go ahead.
no, that's
That was a good answer.
all three of you guys had really solid answers. I like that. My next question, I guess. So we're talking about breeding, the struggles. Now let's bring a positive question into this. We're coming up on the very beginning of the breeding season. What are your guys' most anticipated projects that you guys got coming up?
I got two.
Again, we'll go
ahead,
DNT.
I like the way everybody just smiles and laughs.
I got a special project coming up. So, I'm trying to, I hit some, not last year, but the year before. I had an albino female. She dropped a couple of calico males. Like I'm talking, you could probably go on the Instagram. There might be, this is my new Instagram. I had it Boston Boa's Instagram, but Instagram took it down because they said I violated their sales policy. I'm just putting snakes up saying they're available like everyone else does. So I don't know if somebody's reporting me, who the hell knows, but they gave me a couple warnings. I said, I ain't doing nothing wrong. I wrote a comment, they give you a chance to fill. I said, listen, I'm doing nothing different than anybody else. Right. And then boom, 3 weeks later or something, my account was frozen. They said, oh yeah, we'll give you an answer in 48 hours. 48 hours later, gone. See you later. So that sucked. But so I lost a lot of good pitches there. But so I'm going to try to prove out that calico project if the males will breed this year. The brothers will be 20 months old in January. I know they can breed around 18, but that's sometimes depending. So I'm going to throw them both in there with the mother, try to push it, and see what happens. So fingers crossed that if that was to ever prove out, I mean, there is no genetic calico boas, there is no genetic paradox. Right now, capital constrictors or constrictor capital, I don't know which way it goes. Yeah, he's got like this white wall project, and he says he's got the pie project. We've seen pictures, and I would just like to see it in person, some of the babies eventually one day. And I have talked with him a little bit about his projects and about the calico project I got going now. And, he's interested in mine. I'm interested in his. But, yeah, so, I mean, right now it's not like retics and even Burmeses and ball pythons. Like, we don't have the paradox gene. We don't have the calico gene. We don't have the pie gene right now that's out on the market to buy where, you know what I mean? Right now it's still being worked over, I guess.
Have you seen the berm? The berm pies are out.
Oh yeah, I've seen. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. They got retic pies. They got berm pies. They got ball python pies. Right now, ball pies.
Oh yeah. Constrictor capital's the only one.
Worked on, yeah. So and even calico, a paradox. We don't have a genetic calico. We don't have a genetic paradox. But basically, retics do. So do ball pythons. You can even almost say the granite is almost, in a sense, like a calico with the Burmese python. But
now with retics,
I like to see, the boas branch out to is stuff like that. Because imagine what a paradox, Princess Diamond would look like, all white with the black blotches, or a calico version of that, or an IMG paradox. I mean, IMG pied. I mean, imagine that.
Oh, that'd be.
You know what I'm saying? Even like a calico IMG. Imagine a calico IMG. I mean, imagine what that would look like.
Yeah. Now with retics, we don't have like the paradoxing and the calico. It's not something that you can genetically try and make with the retics. It just happens. No, it just happens out of sheer randomness.
Some people say the paradox.
Like the boas, then. All right. Yeah, I didn't know that about retics, because I know Kevin up there. He's got that cow project, which is, I don't know. He's got a couple different things that almost look calico-y,
Now there is with retics, there's what's called the Ivy line.
Yeah.
The Ivy line was produced by Gavin, correct? He was the first to have it. And the Ivy line is known to change physical colors as it ages, usually around 3 to 4 years of age. It'll start changing. So Gavin and Amanda Bowe, their first Ivy that they had produced and they didn't change until it was 3 years old. It was this white, yellow looking snake. And literally after one shed, it was this pitch black snake. Completely random. With the paradoxing, again, it's just sheer luck that you get something that's paradox. It's not genetic. It's not a specific work you can try and create again. It just happens naturally.
Some people say something with incubation could be a reason to why it paradoxes, maybe temperature changes or something like that. But
nothing.
You just can't straight produce paradoxes.
I mean, if we could,
beautiful.
That'd be fantastic. We used to have a paradox.
I'll post another picture of the two calicos that, after the show. I'll put them on my Instagram page. That way you could get a good look at them, or do a video of them or something. But they're pretty gnarly. You know what I mean? I got a hypo version and a normal version. They're both males, so who knows? I held the mother back last year. I didn't breed her, so hopefully maybe late December they'll be ready to breed.
Nice.
Yeah, the only gene that it's genetic in is Sambo's, bro. That for sure. There's a paradox that's genetic there. You can actually breed a paradox to a paradox and make more paradox. That I believe is the only species of snakes in the world discovered so far that paradox is actually a genetic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sambo's. Yeah.
Yep.
But how about pied? Like a pied in a retic is reproducible, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Recessive gene.
Yeah.
Are y'all gonna do moon pies, or is that what they're called? Moon pies for retics?
Which ones?
The
Panda pies?
The panda pies. That's the jet black with the white.
So panda pies is a motley, GC, and pied.
Okay, motley.
Yeah, those are pretty. Do you guys have those?
We have a motley GC currently. He's our baby. You guys have probably seen him on our Instagram and Facebook. He's basically almost jet black with the iridescence of an oil spill. He's phenomenal. But I don't know if we're going to try and do panda pies. It's not something that we've planned. I know a few people have made them, including Bob Clark. I think Sal Jay made them. So it's pretty limited, and to produce panda pies, I mean, it's probably 1 out of maybe 20 that you hit, if that.
Wow.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
It's I mean, for us, we're trying to get a little bit. We're solely based with a lot of colors, so we're trying to go with different pies that you normally don't see around. So we're trying to produce those. But like your question was, what's this season and what we're looking like to produce this season? On my end, her end. I think her goals are going to be either next year or the year after, but for this year, it's the super dwarfs that we're producing. So we have some quality, high-end Chris Browning Vital Exotic super dwarfs, which is in the super dwarf game. If you know Vital Exotics and Chris Browning, I mean, there's nobody better. He's not in the hobby anymore, but his animals are still out there, the parents and stuff like that, from what he had produced. So we have we have a few of his that we're gonna breed together.
Oh, really nice.
Yeah.
I can't really see his iridescence as much. He's in blue right now, but
he's like our mascot.
That's like IMG right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is gorgeous.
And he's in blue right now, so his iridescence is not even nearly as close as what he normally is, but he's just a big sweetheart, aren't you?
He's a good boy. So ours would be, we're going to be producing orange glow super dwarfs. We'll have snow super dwarfs. That's and then what else?
Right now, our first pairing that actually she already had her post-op shed was a purple female. But goals would be our snow projects. We've got a female that'll go this year to produce some snows, and then our orange glow super dwarfs. And then next year we're hoping to create some pretty killer pieds. So that'll be nice.
Okay. I'm gonna put a pause on the super dwarf because I want that was a sub question that I got for you guys. But I'll definitely come back and circle back around to that because I got a couple of questions for that. It's cool that you guys brought them up, and I'm super excited to see what you guys do with it. Oh man, it's
yeah, that thing's nice. Wow. Whoa. Yeah, see, that's badass. That's crazy.
Definitely got a calico look to it for sure.
Oh yeah.
Damn, that's gorgeous, bro.
Yeah, I haven't seen nothing like that.
But
Oh wow.
What is that, Boston? That's your calico?
Yeah, that's one of the calico males.
That's badass.
That is awesome.
And that's reproducible. That's
I'm gonna
reproducible.
try to see if it's reproducible this year.
Okay. Right on.
See, I got two of them, so I got him and his brother.
That's beautiful. Rod, just whatever you do, Rodriguez, don't pair another golden child to your female.
You don't want supers.
Nope. Super golden childs, they tend to not live past 2 years. It's something with their digestive system. It just doesn't take.
So kind of like Molly with boas, or Celtic to Celtic, or Celtic to Motley, or we got a couple of genetics in boas too. If you pair them, they're lethal. So
yeah, some people have produced them. There's some out there, but it's a rare occurrence.
Blue-eyed Lucy and retic.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Lucy's. I remember Robert. He's a big retic breeder, and he produced the leucistics, the big white ones. And he couldn't get one. He got that big one up to like 15 foot, and she ended up dying after like 3.5 years. Like her organs or something ended up failing. I remember he took her to the vet. And he like exposed all the documents and everything, and he was just saying like, "Hey, they just don't make it." Yeah, I was lucky to get this one to 15 feet or whatever it was, and so many years old. But even at a certain age, its inside started failing on it. So.
Yep.
This is beautiful snake. I was like, dang, man, because he created the fruit baskets too, is what he called them.
Fruit baskets, there are some orange glows and lemon glows. So.
Yeah, and you can create 2 purely white snakes in retics. The Blue-eyed Lucy is one of them, and that's where you put a lemon glow to a lemon glow, which is the lethal one. You can also create a fully white snake with blue eyes that also looks like a Blue-eyed Lucy, but it's a super phantom, and that one is not lethal, and it stays pure white, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Patrick, what's your most anticipated project for the year out of the?
My 2 most anticipated projects are, I actually got them paired right now. I don't see too much activity. It's my blood from Aussie Boys. He's a blood 66 Posset Sharp, and he's actually paired to my Sharp Sunglow Jungle Motley. I'm super stoked. I hope he proves out het sharp, because then we'll get some visuals that are het bloods. If not, we'll make double hets, which I'm okay with. And then my second is one pair that is actually breeding. It's the Red Pastel Sunglow Celtic Sharp to a Hypo Guyanan 100% het sharp. So I'm excited to see what that BCC blood does with the Red Pastel. And then Sharp already is naturally a really awesome, colorful boa. So I'm just really excited to see what that will intensify with the colors. That particular project has not been done yet. We're not out to make world's first or whatever. We're just wanting to enhance our projects. We're wanting to add color, see how far we can take our projects with color. And just, we're willing to put in that hard work and dedication. I bought both females from basically Boas, Big Mike at basically Boas. Even though I get all the hate for it, they're like, "Oh, why would you cross BCC and a BI?" I'm like, "Hey, I bought them like that, but I'm doing it for this reason. I'm doing it for projects only." I see nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, like as long as you're doing it to enhance your project, as long as you're doing it to better your projects, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Because man, there's just so many other ways to do it. But at least this way, I know I'm not crossing nothing. Like there's nothing there that can be inbred. You know what I mean? Like it's completely, the BCC blood actually added the new bloodline to it. So I know there's fresh blood there to add to my project. So just excited to see what that all does together.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh man, I'll be tracking on that one. I'll be watching. I'm excited to see what you do with that. That's incredible.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. My male that is breeding her, you know, the dad to him was a red pastel hypo Celtic. He came from Europe. We got him from Michael Roscoe. He actually was imported from Europe 3 years ago. And I didn't have a lineage on him, or I didn't have an age on him. So when I paired him, man, for all I know, he could have been 16, 17 months, but he did the job. The female gave us 17 healthy babies. And it was a Father's Day litter, so it was really awesome to come home on Father's Day and see that. But the male ain't even 19 months old, and he's breeding better than some of my 4-year-old males, bro. So he's just going to town. I've had great success with younger males. I've had great success with older males. So I'm kind of really excited to see if he can. I mean, he's been breeding her, bro. Like I'm seeing locks, so I'm like, he's doing it. So let's see what happens. Little guy's got some stripe to him. Takes after his dad for sure.
That's all you can do. Is just leave him in there and just let him do his thing.
Man, I was excited. I just threw him in there because he was really active. She was really active, and I was like, "Hey, he's kind of small, but let's toss him in there, see what he does." And within 10 hours, I think I tossed him in. I came home from work, and they were already locked. I was like
Oh, yeah.
running. I was showing my brother-in-law. I was like, "Ryan, they're already locked, bro." And he's like, "What?" And he's seen them. He's like,
Small
"Oh, my
males. I use small males probably 90% of the time. I want the male to be smaller than the female. It just I feel it works better that way also.
Well, all our males are. So I don't think we got a female under 6 foot, bro. And then I don't think we got a male over 3.5 foot. So our males are very small. Just some breeders. I've had some breeders come to me and be like, "Hey, man, I prefer my male to be 3 years old and 3.5, 4 feet, just so they don't, so they can do the job." And I'm like, man, but if you look at RC Pastel, he's a legend in the boa industry. I've met the dude in person. Really cool dude, Richard. And even he's like, dude, he goes, I breed males at 17, 18 months old. And he goes, I have better success with my younger males. He goes, the thing he always told me and the trick he taught me was to look for sperm plugs. So before any male ever gets tossed into the cage, I will literally, kind of bend their tail, not break their tail. I will bend it back a little bit and I will roll up. And if they're mature, sperm plugs will come out. And every male that's paired right now.
You see him in the water bowl. You can see him drop in the water bowl. Yep.
And sometimes if I'm impatient and I don't want to wait to see them in the water bowl, if I can't find them, I'll roll their tail. And they tend to come out pretty easily. So
this little male right here, right? This tiny male, barely maybe 20 months old, he's ready.
That's about how big my Celtic is. That's how big how big our Celtic is that's breeding.
Yeah. This guy's already got sperm plugs, like you said. I seen him in the water bowl. I can breed him probably right now. Who knows? He'd probably do it.
No.
But and he's tiny.
Yeah, we just put our 6 foot male to our 15-foot female.
Woo, and that's small.
And he's almost 2 years. He's almost 2 years right now. He's 18 months. First time breeder. I shit you not even 10 minutes later. This fucker is thrusting this female. And when I tell you, like, thrusting, like, he is going to town.
I thought he was on the side of her.
But he is probably the girth of the bottom of he's about here. He's about smaller than a Coke can. And this purple female is this big. So when you see a picture, I took a picture of it, you can barely see this male because one's a lavender and she's a purple, so they both look very similar. But you just see this tiny little body like draped on top of her. But he's not even an eighth of the size of her. And he got the job done in 10 minutes.
Yeah. No. Literally.
That's incredible.
Right? That's awesome.
Size don't mean everything.
I've seen a couple of photos online of people that are working the super dwarf to mainland projects where they're putting a male super dwarf to a female, and it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's like a semi and a smart car sitting next to it.
Bro, that's like a Samboa. That's like a Samboa and a 10-foot burn, bro.
Yeah,
pretty much. It's funny.
That's wild. It was that Yeah, never mind. That's wild.
So we're on the subject, and one of our followers here had a really good question. I was planning on asking it later in the session, but we'll do it now, seeing we're heavy into it. What are some tips and pointers that y'all could offer people just getting into breeding? The breeding boa, we'll go boas and retics. You know, what are like the top advice that you guys have?
Build a solid collection with what you like, not with what is popular, not with what everybody else likes, what you like. Basically, what you want to work with every day. Don't just go out and buy, oh, well, this is hot right now. This is hot right now. This is the best morph right now. Go out and get what you like. That's my advice.
No, I agree 100%. Everything. Our first year, we went from 6 boas to 25 boas within the first year, and it was everything we wanted. We wanted IMGs, so we added, a couple IMGs. We wanted, color. I'm a color and pattern guy. I love color and pattern, so we went for color and pattern. We got, the Celtics and the beautiful part about that, and I agree with what he says, because if you produce what you like, then you're not gonna care if it sells or not. Like, some people, they produce stuff and they're like, oh, I gotta move it, I gotta move it. But when I work with stuff that I enjoy, which is everything in this room, man, I could look at them babies all day and be like, hey, if you don't sell, you just stay in here. That's it. Like, you got a home here. Like,
That's true.
so
I would say two things. Heavily do your research. Heavily research, especially with retics. And reach out to the community. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask questions, because that's what we did. We reached out to people and that's how we got so close with our community. I mean, I know that a lot of different reptile communities can have their doors shut or not so open, but you never know unless you ask. The only stupid question is the question not asked.
yeah.
So if you're not reaching out to people and asking questions and getting advice and seeing how people do things, then you're never going to know. But you also don't want to try and replicate exact things that you're hearing. You need to make your own way of doing things. So what we've done, we learned from Amanda and Gavin. We learned from Aubrey Pruitt. We learned from Tyler Fugit. We learned from Chris McVicker. We learned from all of our close friends, and we found our perfect way of doing things. So combining all of those different things and doing our research, well, I did my research. He just watched. But but us figuring out a way that worked perfect for us instead of trying to do it how everyone else did, but being able to combine everyone else's ways and just making it our own. But if we didn't ask questions, we would have never known.
Right.
And we make what we like. I'm a big albino guy. I love all colors of albino, purples, labs, and regular whites, and Renix, and all the good stuff like that, lemon glows and orange glows. So that's what we want to produce, and we want to take everything to the next level with that. Where, sure, there's stuff been made in the orange glow world, but stuff in the Rennick Ghost world hasn't been made. And Rennick Ghost are amazing, beautiful, beautiful albino animals. I mean, but for some reason, nobody makes them. Nobody works on them as much as there's one person, Travis Warren, who does a lot of work with them. So we want to produce Rennick Ghost on another level. So hopefully in time, we'll be able to do a lot of the crazy stuff. And that's how we, like you said, it's pretty much like you both guys have mentioned. It's do what you like. Don't just do what everybody wants, because you do what you do and you get known for that. That's what's going to take you to the next level.
He loves the albinos. I love the dark and the iridescent. So anything with OGS, Sunfire, Motley GC, anything that's going to give that really iridescent kind of flare is what I love. So like Loki, when I saw him, I was like, that's the fucking snake I want. I want that one right now, like done. And he's the one that started it all. But it was that iridescence that you can spot from a mile away that really grabs your attention. So that's where we kind of have both of our likes coming together, because you can take, a visual albino, put it to something that's got a head albino, and still get what he likes and still get what I like. So all of our snakes that we have purchased to make these pairings are compatible with each other. So there's not one snake in this house that you can't pair with an opposite female that won't go well together.
I like it. That's a great combination with you guys working side and side.
And it goes to show that research is key. As you can see, there's two boa breeders on here, and we do two different ways of breeding, but we also live in two different climates. We live in two different states. That's another reason why research is so key. What works for us here in Arizona, he don't have to do because he's already got the temperatures. He's already got the cool down. So it is just like you were saying, what works for one person may not work for another person just because of the area. Know your city, know your state, know your climates, know your temperatures. Do research of where the animals are from, what actually triggers them in their wild, because when you can bring that into captivity and recreate that, it's a game changer. But you have to know your climates, your temperatures, and where you stand with that, because every state's different, every city's different, all the climates are different. So where they're from and where I'm from, like, we don't do good at all. So I have to mess with the temperatures here to get their bodies to cool down, to get their follicles to build, to get them into breeding mode, compared to where Boston don't, because he's 2 miles away from the beach. And right now he's at 56 degrees or 55 degrees. I'm still at 100 degrees. So
Oh
such a
my
big
God, that's
temperature
brutal,
difference.
man.
Such a big temperature difference. But because of research and because we did our due diligence on where these animals come from, what we need to do to successfully be here. This is our 4th year, and like I said, we already got our first female ready to ovulate. It's pretty close. So and that's because of just the last couple years, like observing, doing a lot of the research, temperature. The first couple years we're just messing around. All right, well, I'm gonna do this year. Well, the last 2 years, dropping the temperatures, cutting out the humidity, that's worked perfect for us. So I'm not changing nothing, and it seems to keep, and it's obviously working again already this year. So yeah, it's very key to know your state, your temperatures, and what's going to work best for the animals. Definitely very important to study them and where they're from, so you can mimic that temperature. So
There you go.
Also,
Good
don't
answer.
be. I tell people, new people, don't be afraid to fail. People like think that
Yep.
they get in and they fail the first or second season. That, oh, I can never going to be able to do this. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to fail.
you
I
Absolutely.
could,
can't
I
count
could add
without
on to
failing,
that
bro.
too.
Failure is success, because you got to learn.
Exactly.
You got to fail to learn how to succeed, bro. You got to
Yes.
do it wrong to learn how to do it right. So that's 100%, bro.
In the words of Steve Harvey, if you're not failing, you're not trying.
Man, that's
Yep.
true. That's true, bro.
Exactly.
I've had my
So,
fair share.
so since we're on the asking the community questions, what is one thing you would change about the community?
It's different. A retic world is a different world of its own. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for your guys' answer on this one.
all right. Well, what I've noticed in the groups is it's just constant beating down on certain people, which not everybody's gonna like everybody. Not everybody's gonna go to everybody. Not everybody's gonna find person A compatible with and person B compatible with. It's all different, and I just wish everybody would just kind of hear everybody out and listen and take your own advice and go somewhere else and try to find people that'll work with you, or find people who you find that'll give you the information that you need. I mean, it's just it's just petty. There's a lot of petty stuff out in the retic world, and I hate it, because you know what? There's some people who are very knowledgeable, and you know what? You might have caught them at a wrong time where they just lost a clutch of 40 eggs. I wouldn't be happy, So maybe at the moment they weren't the most nicest person or the most comprehensive person listening to you, and then 2 weeks later you could see them and they're all like, yeah, what's up, man, I'm sorry about that, and then all of a sudden you already spoke too bad about them, so now you got to retract on your sentences. So it's just a lot of stuff like that, and just a lot of people, because I guess, I don't know, I've heard of the ball python world. It's kind of the same too. If one breed is producing something, the other, some people try to catch up to them, keeping up with the Joneses style, and it's we don't dabble in that, man. We don't have time for that. I'm trying to produce animals that people are going to be like, wow, now that's nice. I'd rather have the quality over the quantity. So again, it's just, I wish we could just all get along, be quiet, and just, it's for the animals. It's not us, it's for the animals.
I think it also comes back to doing your research. A lot of people will speak before they actually know what's going on, because it's he said, she said kind of thing, and hearsay. And instead of actually doing the research and knowing what's going on with that person or knowing their backstory, it's just rumors getting spread, and it's like being in high school again. I mean, yes, there are always going to be bad apples in every single community. There's always going to be. Do retics probably have some of the worst because of the size that they get and the care that we have to go through because it is a larger snake? Yes. But again, those bad apples are well known in the community, and they're not liked by the community, but we're not out here spreading rumors or, throwing garbage at them because we don't like them. So we just always tell people, you know what, we don't talk bad about people. Do your research before you buy from someone, but do we recommend you buying from them? We're not going to say them first, but we're also going to not throw their name out there. Don't buy from that person. So it's having respect and being an adult and not being in high school and being childish and throwing people under the bus or saying negative things about someone just because, again, they do something differently.
Yeah. Damn, that was a good answer. I like that one.
I was gonna say the retic world is definitely, it's a different world from all the other species. It's literally a whole nother animal.
Yeah.
Bro, the boa world
we
is
don't-
probably the same way, bro. If not worse, dude. The boa world is, dude. I seen people be like, "Oh, I got boas that are worth more than your trailers," and I've just seen some nasty things being said, bro. And I'm just like, hey, man. At the end of the day, it shouldn't matter what your animals are worth. You should be doing it for the love of them, man. And when I see people like that, those are the people I don't talk bad about, but I don't acknowledge them either, and I don't care to really conversate with those kind of people. I just distance myself from them. Like, hey, you know what? I know what kind of person you are. I know your character. I'm not a fan of that kind of character, so hey, I'm just not gonna associate with you. Because there are some nasty. I'm in a fish community because I have a nice fish tank. I'm in the rabbit community, the chinchilla community, the boa community, the reptile or the colubrids. The colubrids not so bad. The colubrid community is actually fairly responsible. But the ball pythons, the boas, and the fish, those have been the three worst that I have seen so far. I'm just like, what is up with you people, man? Like, we're all in here together. I look at life as a journey, not a competition. How many people can I bring along with me? Not how many people can I try to compete with and tear down? You know what I mean? We're faith based, business. We're Christians. We believe in God, and we believe in that. We believe in what our shirt. It says Mark 12:31. Love thy neighbor as yourself. That's our verse. That's on everything. For that reason, because we believe strongly in that. Like, love each other, care for each other, like lift each other up. Don't bash each other. Don't put each other down. Don't stomp on each other. So we have that mindset of positivity. Hey, what can I do to help the next person out, or what can I do to help uplift somebody else? Because I've seen some nasty things being said in this hobby, and I'm just like, my goodness, man. Like,
that's
your
one thing
ego is
that
big, bro.
USR
Your ego is bigger than your collection. That's pretty sad, dude. You have a $20,000 boa, but you have 10 snakes in your head's as big as all of them. Pretty sad,
that's one
man.
thing with USARC too. USARC, we have to get everyone together, and
Absolutely.
because of
One team, one fight.
everything going on between these communities and all the hate or the just irresponsibility of these communities just bashing one another. What does that look like when we're trying to get everyone together so that we can keep our animals?
Yep.
So
We just
Well
did a
said.
fundraiser. We did an auction Friday. So from Arizona, we got like 8 breeders together to donate animals. I mean, more breeders than just Arizona. But mine and Darian's goal was to well, I came to Darien and I was like, hey, bro, Arizona, like a lot of people support US Art, but hey, let's show US Art Florida that Arizona has their back. That states all the way as far as the West
Yep.
Coast have their back. So we
Mhm.
came together. I think we raised $1,784 for US Art Florida Friday. I
Nice.
donated. We donated some animals. We had 5, 6 other boa breeders here in Arizona that donated some animals. It was just really awesome to see. And our what we're striving to do was push other states. Hey, even though there's already a U.S. Ark, Florida is the head of the horse. They're the backbone of all this. Like
Mhm.
whatever happened there rippled effect to the other states. Like other states were watching what they were doing and they're like, hey, we're gonna do that too. So
Yep.
as long
Exactly.
as their backbone is strong and they're able to fight the fights, it's gonna help make US Art's job so much easier for all the other states. So that's why we wanted to target US Art Florida and we wanted to help them and come together and show them like, hey, you guys got supporters all the way over here in Arizona on the West Coast. Like we just wanted to show our love, even though we were on a different completely coast. One team, one fight. We're here to
Mhm.
Yep.
support you guys. So
Every shirt order that we do, um, we give back to US Arc. So we immediately send usually 150 right after we do a shirt order. And then every shirt that we sell, $5 of that shirt goes back to US Arc. So,
nice.
I mean, we're always donating. I think NARBC, how much did they do this last US Arc auction?
I don't know.
70,
I think it was 70 something.
$75,000 for US Arc at
Wow.
NARBC in September.
Damn,
So,
that's
yeah,
badass. Hell yeah.
yeah, it's
Yep.
huge in Texas. So
Yeah.
they get a lot of love.
Mhm.
Yeah, they do, especially from y'all and Lone Star down there too as well.
Yep, with Earl. Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
remember
Oh yeah,
that.
his dang US Arc tattoo.
Yeah.
Love the man.
And see, that's the thing about us. We're retail people, and we're friends with everybody. I don't care what you produce. I don't care how you produce it. As long as you're coming up with beautiful, safe, healthy animals, I'm not going to say anything about them. Ball pythons are not our thing. Geckos aren't our thing, but that doesn't mean nothing. I mean, there's some beautiful ball pythons. There's some beautiful geckos. There's some beautiful colubrids and everything like that. I mean, we're just friends with literally everybody. We do not position ourselves. We don't get in between people. That's their business, not ours. But we're known. That's one thing we're known for is that we carry on with retake guys, ball python guys. So that's like a big thing for us, and that's what we're trying to get everybody else to do. Is because we're not breeding the same animal doesn't mean anything else. It shouldn't be a different world. We're all together again. So
Do we wish that our daughter would have chose retics over ball pythons? Absolutely. But she chose ball pythons and probably a safer one for a 13-year-old. But still.
and have all the best.
I love that.
Boston, what would you change in the community?
Well, this is an answer like I want to tread lightly on because I don't want to offend nobody, but my take on the community is, I mean, everybody's doing their thing. People have love for the animals, but I feel like social media has just made it so much smaller than it used to be, because now you can just bash this person, see this person's channel, do this, make a video about that person. And then, like, for instance, someone could take advice from me, him, anyone who's been breeding boas for multiple years, right? And then all of a sudden somebody's got a channel that they just blow up in 6 months because they got 6 boas and they got 1 million subscribers. All of a sudden they're a professional. They know everything. They know more than you. Like it's stuff like that. Like I said, I don't really want to get into, but in my eyes, it's like if you don't have a big social media following and you're not like social media, whatever you want to call it, if you didn't basically, if you weren't somebody who was at Animal Con or something, what are you? You're just a low-level breeder to all those other people. You don't matter really. And believe me, I will say that because, and I'm not smashing on nobody. I mean, I helped Brian. Brian's a personal friend of mine. I was up there for both Reptarian builds. I mean, the first one and the second one. You know what I mean? I drove out here from Boston to help for free. You know what I mean? Like just for the love of it. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're not somebody who's got 50, 100,000 subscribers and you're not well known or this or that, people don't take you seriously. That's the way I feel. People don't respect what you do, respect the caliber of what you do, because you don't have a big social media following. Bottom line, like I said, if that offends somebody, I don't care. But it's just, that's why I said I want to tread lightly, because I don't really want to offend people. But that's the way it really is.
I mean, I could see that.
This person, from this channel, or this person's got 50,000 subscribers, so they must, it's like, who cares about all that? You know what I mean? It's about the quality, the care of the animals. People putting their hard work and blood, and literally blood, into producing these things. So I don't know. I used to have a YouTube. I still do have a YouTube channel, but I don't really do nothing with it no more. I really, really lost interest in it. Like I said, I was producing beautiful animals. I was always up front. I never hid anything. If something died, I'd be like, oh man, look what happened. I always put everything straightforward. And it just, I don't know, the community, I felt, because I had a channel for years, and I don't know, maybe I'm not good on a camera. Who knows? It could be 100 reasons. But I just feel like, if you're not some YouTube personality, reptile personality, you get like no respect. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get the respect you should. You should get the same respect as a guy who got 3 million subscribers, or the same respect as any of those guys that got hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers. But I mean, you got 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. To them, you just,
I think
Hey,
also
bro,
adding on to
does
your...
anybody here, listen, does anybody here have a YouTube channel?
I do not.
No? No one?
No.
Oh, I do. This is it.
Oh, all right. Well, you know what I meant. I mean, like, all right, well, so can't really answer that question because you guys
Also
don't have a
adding
channel.
on to your social media, Boston, I also think that the clickbait takes over.
Yes.
If you're not doing something to grab someone's attention, you're not going to get those likes. You're not going to get those follows. And with that,
that's a good one. You shouldn't have to do that, though.
No, if you're handling a snake or any reptile in general as it should be handled, proper handling, proper feeding, proper anything, you're not going to get the likes and the clicks that someone else is if they're showing them getting themselves bit, or showing a female who laid a clutch a week or two previously and is attacking them on screen. Let me tell you,
Or a half-naked girl. Or a half-naked girl. Like, I can see a half-naked girl holding a regular corn snake get 5,000 likes because she's half-naked. You know what I mean? Like, the stuff people do to attract attention. Not 100%.
I know people that only do live feed videos. That's all they do. They throw live mice in, or throw live freaking rabbits in, or they have whatever, centipedes or frogs gobbling live mice, and they do this repeatedly. That's the only thing they put out because it gets views, and it's kind of like, the fuck, you know what I mean? Who the hell wants to see, a frog?
Who wants to see someone just holding a snake properly, and it's like, slithering around or being inquisitive? They don't want to see that.
It's not.
They want to see, oh my God, the snake is striking his face and attacking him. Look at this. Oh my God, let me share this. Let me share how crazy this snake is over her eggs.
There's been a lot of back and forth with people from up in New Hampshire here, like Nerd and the guys in Florida. Like, what's that kid's name there?
Tyler.
No, Chandler there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him, not Tyler. I like Tyler. He's good, and that's another thing. Like, he gained popularity fast, Tyler, because he was on one of those tattoo apprentice shows, and whatever. So his channel blew up like that. But I don't look at Tyler as a breeder. I'm not saying he's not a breeder or he doesn't bred anything, but I don't look at him as somebody like you, me, anyone in here who's breeding. That's what you do. Your main goal is breeding. He's more of a keeper with a tattoo shop.
And he's a very safe keeper at that. Like, he is. He's always been very well with his animals. So, I mean,
free handling.
His free handling's a little crazy.
He keeps everything really well clean. Everything's good. But like I was saying, he blew up, and people like that they could think, well, this guy knows way more than any of you because he's got 500,000 followers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to back Tyler, so this doesn't get taken out of context, because I do like Tyler a lot.
Oh, I do like Tyler
too.
I subscribe to him.
Yep, we do too.
Yeah,
I love watching him handle. It's crazy how he does some of it, but he's very knowledgeable. He's very safe. He's he knows his shit. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about handling. I'm talking about as in like being a breeder, or then you got breeders fighting with each other. Like I said, you got Chandler's Wildlife making videos about Kevin and Nerd and that guy Donnie up there, and those are battling. They're making, it's stuff like that. That's just not good for the hobby.
No,
Absolutely.
Not at
I
all.
agree. I could agree with that.
For sure, man. Yep.
I cut out a little bit there. The one thing that I respect the most about Tyler, he never claims any of that. He doesn't, I've never heard him say I'm a breeder. I've never heard him give like any like pro level advice. I know he's given tips and pointers from his point of view, but Tyler carries himself very well. I have a deep respect for him for that. The way that he does portray the things he does, he doesn't go, oh, this is an acceptable thing. He goes, oh, I free handle my venomins. There's tons of people, like we have a guy that we bring on a regular basis that free handles venomous. He just knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's his choice,
He's not allowed.
No. I don't even try that. No.
They're all in bioactive, and he doesn't touch them.
Nope, exactly.
Well, one of them, your Viper, man, that one's so pretty. It would be so hard not to want to interact.
Which one? The all green one?
All green, and then you guys have an all blue one too, right?
We have
Medusa. She's my favorite. She's the all green.
She's the all green and Solaris. I have 2 squams, 2 in Solaris, a blue and a green, and then I have an itchy eye. And I bought them knowing that I would never take them out or ever play with them or even try to even do anything unless I needed to move them for some reason or another. But even then, they're in enclosures where I have no need to move. So unless I buy something nicer, which I'm planning to do in the future, so it's a nice display unit, not so much a bunch of terrariums together side by side. So that's the only time, and even then, I'm even dreading that day to take them out and move them over. So
Mike MKR Reptiles? Go put your DMT shirt on.
So I like Tyler, crazy free handler, but you're right again. He doesn't ever say he does I'm a breeder or this other stuff. But again, it's a social media. People just don't know the difference, and that's another thing we try to do is educate people on not paying attention to those people. Nothing wrong with them. It's great. It's awesome, but we're not here to show you how leaving a snake on eggs for 2 weeks, what's going to happen. That's not our goal. We're to show you that this is not the correct way of doing things, and this is how it works, because we have videos of us pulling eggs, and it's nowhere near that. I mean, the girls have just literally body checked me, and as soon as I pull them off, nice and smooth, she comes in and she takes the eggs, and they're all done.
That's it.
And that's it. It's sorry, I hate to disappoint people, but if you do it the right way, you're helping the animal. It doesn't stress them out. It doesn't make them any aggravated anymore or any more violent. It's just a better way to do things, and this way your animal's happy and you don't get bit. There you go.
I've yet to find a peaceful way to pull baby boas, bro.
Really?
They give live birth and they want to kill you every single. I mean, so the method I have found that works best for me I don't get hurt and the female don't get hurt in the process of trying to hurt me, is a rat. Like I try to give them a rat, they take the rat, and as soon as they wrap it and coil it, I pull them out. Yeah. But if you don't use that method, I promise you're gonna be fighting that snake. Like boas are extremely protective when they give live birth. We produced over 15 litters, and I've yet to have one that just let me reach in there and grab a litter.
Is it the same for you, Boston?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I do. I'll have, as soon as I see, like I go out there and I say, oh God, there's a litter drop, I'll immediately throw out a rat. I'll leave her in there with him for a little while. As soon as the rat's ready, I'll try to get her to get that rat. As soon as she wraps up, I'll have a bin waiting for her. I'll grab her while she's wrapped up on the rat, put her in the bin, and then I deal with the babies. And then when she eats, I'll rinse her off, I'll clean her cage, put her right back in, and she'll never see those babies again.
All right, y'all can stick to boas. We'll stick to eggs.
And they're not as big as retics, so but they're very aggressive.
But seriously, it's probably with the breeding method and everything like that, and pulling the eggs, it's one of the easiest parts. the retake has that 12-hour period where she is still induced in this trance. Within that
Boa's
12-hour
too, yep.
period, you pull that clutch. She's so exhausted. She's malnutrition. She doesn't know what's going on because of that mental state she's in. What they do is, like he said, their body checks, or I call them ticks. They'll tick you and kind of move their body towards you. And literally all you do is push them away, pull them off if you need to, and pull the clutch. And it's the quickest and simplest thing. And then it's just cleaning the enclosure, getting them out to soak, so you get that entire smell of the eggs off. Because if not, they're still going to smell their eggs and they're still going to think they're in there. And then that's when they become more protective.
Yeah. I've had boas do that even after pulling litters, cleaning their cages, washing them off for 12 hours. They'll still be cruising the cage looking for their babies. Like I've had them, not every boa has done that, but I have had moms, those, because they'll nest. So boas, they start nesting about 2 days before they give birth. Though, and what we do is on the cold side, because that's typically, if a boa is going to have her babies on the cold side, that's a good indicator that she's going to have a good litter. Every litter that we've ever had on the hot side was not the best litter. We have gotten litters, but we've had really bad litters every time it's on the hot side. So those stay cooled up on the hot side, and when they start nesting, they'll literally start cruising the cage. What they're doing is they're looking for a good place to have their babies. I used to use Aspen until one of my females got a mouth infection and she died after giving birth. So I use that Carefresh now, and what I do is I'll put some on the cold side, and I give them a good, like I'll put about 2 inches of it, and I'll do like a good little section of it, and what she'll do is she'll start digging through it and all that, and then within 2 days she'll actually find one of the corners, and they typically just lay their babies in a corner.
Wow.
That's cool. So you guys touched on the subject. I mean, if you guys are open to naming the person that you're speaking about, you're more than opt to. I have on this live, I've spoken about the aggressiveness of taking a female off the eggs in a retake multiple times, and how I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that certain individual is the main face of what retakes are. Honestly, I mean, I argue that he is the face of the industry, not just retakes, but
I think we all know who you're talking about, bro.
yeah, it's a bad coming from me.
Jay?
Like, yeah,
It's prehistoric death.
Prehistoric death. Thank you. I don't like it because I see it from one side. I mean, Eric had a great point that somebody having no idea what they're doing could see it and be like, oh, look, it's a big snake and he's not getting hurt. But on the opposite side, I see somebody like potentially buying 2 retakes, breeding them, and going to take the female off, thinking they're going to get in a fight and dodge that strike, and they're going to end up in the hospital. If not, we're going to have another news clip of why USARK's at war with whatever state that happens in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because that's our biggest thing. That's when, as soon as everybody comes to our table, it's either this thing's going to grow to 25 feet, or
These are the snakes that grow 30 feet,
yeah,
and they attack your face. And I'm like,
and then it's like, then after that, the second one is, well, if we breed them, they have babies, they're going to attack us and bite our faces off. And it's like, that's not going to happen. I mean, and then we usually have to wind up showing the videos of us pulling eggs, and it's I don't know, and I'll say his name. I don't care. It's Jay Brewer. I don't know. I guess I know he doesn't deal with his animals anymore, really. So I know it's just bad for the retake, the retake hobby, because our animals don't do that. They're not like that. I'm not trying to get it like Boston said. We're not trying to be social media stars. We're not. We put ourselves out there because we make quality animals. We deal with quality breeders who are friends. There's not many of them. There's 3 or 4 who we deal with, and we help each other out, and that's what we're there to show. That okay, yeah, I have 60 animals on our table. We produce maybe 20, 25 of them, but the rest are from some of our friends who don't do shows, who don't get to travel a lot. So we help them out, and it's like that. But there's people in the hobby, as far as it goes, that they crap on us. Well, you don't produce all your eggs. Of course we don't, and I never said we did.
you guys are just flippers, when in fact we're not flipping. These are people and our close friends coming to us. Hey, I don't have time to sell these animals. Can you put them on your table? Yeah. You guys have turned animals more than I have in 2 years. I need you to take some of these animals. Yeah. So we're like, all right, why not have some of the best in the United States in one table where you can get everything.
Yeah. You know,
Exactly.
we've been blessed. We got, you know, we're able to sell the ocelots. You know, we're able to sell them. You
Aubrey
know,
Pruitt is a good friend of ours.
great friend of ours, one of my mentors, our mentors, you know, but you know, we didn't ask him to sell those animals. I mean, that's his project, you know, that's him. Literally that was him, Jay Brewer, and his, you know, Samson Pruitt as well. You know, those are the three guys who had the ocelots. You know, now we're able to sell them, you know, but we didn't go. I didn't ask him, can I sell your animal, please? You know, no, it's, you know,
That's not how it works.
we've gained enough respect in the hobby, and they've seen how we work, and people like speaking with us because, you know, we treat everybody the same. We treat everybody like family. We treat everybody, we talk to everybody. Sometimes it's hard, we're busy, you know, but we try to teach everybody the same thing. We try to talk to everybody the same way, you know, so it's like that, you know, it's again, it's selling those animals in the hobby the way they are and people like that. But we have to literally explain ourselves because of these top social media guys doing the dumbest stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
it's aggravating. And retics are probably the number one snake for all of this. You know, I'll be honest with you. I don't see many ball python biting videos and stuff like that. It's usually anacondas. It's usually rock pythons. It's usually retics. It's usually the big snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to break that. It's hard to break that stigma, especially when somebody's coming over. You know, well, my son wants a retic, and it's like, then the next person goes to him and says, "Did you see what they could do? They'll kill your kid." And no, it's not. I'm not going to sell to the 8-year-old kid, but he's not. He's not going to kill him either. It's just ridiculousness.
Or the parents that, you know, these children, and I mean, we get these children that are just research fanatics, and they're like, this is a reticulated python, and this and this and this, and they get this, this, and this. And the parents like, no, that's going to get so much bigger, and it can eat you. And I'm just like,
kid was more than you do.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
I would have been like, you're missing, like, there are two snakes. There's the anaconda that eats the kid, not the kid.
But it's just the miscommunication and the misconception that these people have because they see these videos. They see these videos of these snakes attacking Jay, or they see how gigantic and not malnourished, but obese his snakes are, because they are in fact obese.
They are.
Jay's snakes are so unhealthy to an extent. If you see a retic that does not have a circular shape, and it goes, I'd like to explain it like the top of a mushroom,
mm-hmm.
That snake is way too obese. You should be able to see the spine of that retic for it to be healthy. And if you can tell me that you can see the spine on one of his snakes, send me a screenshot, please. You can't, because what he does, and a lot of, well, not a lot, but a couple other large breeders in the retic industry are guilty of this. They feed to breed. The more you feed that snake, the larger it's going to be, the more eggs you can get out of each clutch. There's a reason why his snakes have 70, 80, 90 eggs each time, and it's because he's feeding to breed. He only wants to produce. He's not doing it for the love of the animal anymore. He's doing it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
So when you feed to breed, you're going to have an obese, oversized snake. And that's not what a healthy snake looks like. A healthy retic female is usually 14 to 16 feet, sometimes a little bit larger, depending on morphs. But you're never going to get a female really that's 20 feet or over. It's just, it's not captivity anymore.
So there's a couple of subjects I wanted to bring up that I touch on often that I'd like to get all three of your opinions on, especially having two boa breeders on now. The first one, I know I listen to your guys' podcast with MJ. I listen to most of the guests that come on. And I know you guys touched on it, and it's been a while since I've listened to it. But something we're seeing a lot more in the retic community is partnering up.
Like
especially
collabs.
do with the collaborations, especially with the clutch sizes and trying to reduce the overall population in captivity, because some snakes are overinflated. Retics don't sell as well as like ball pythons do. So some breeders have stepped up and been like, hey, you know, instead of me working this long-term recessive project, let me get somebody else involved and let's cut that down a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything in the works as far as that go? Do you guys fully support that? And
absolutely.
Collabs. We love collabs because you know what? We look at it this way. Again, with keeping down the overpopulation of retics and how much they come out from a clutch, we love doing collabs because number one, we split the clutch. So I don't have 60 of the same animals on my table. Now I have 30, but it's still the lesser evil. So we love doing collabs. Our first 2 clutches that we've ever produced were collabs. The clutch we have going on now, that's a collab. We just like doing it. It just makes it easier on everybody. And it's we want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain animals that, you know what, I can't have here because we have our set amount, of space that we have. So we'll just send a female, or a female, or a male gets sent to us. It's just easier that way for us. It makes it a more profitable, number one, and it makes it more, again, you could have different stuff. That's the other stuff that we love. It's we can produce things that maybe we couldn't produce because we don't have enough ample space. Now we can. So it works out better for both people in the long run.
And I think it also builds that respect and trust with other people and more in the community. You do a collab with a certain person. These other people in your community and be like, oh, damn, this person just did a collab with these new people. They must trust them. They must be good people. So then it branches out to other people as well. So it just helps build more trust and respect in the community as well.
I love it. All right, boa breeders. I know this one's it could be a touchy subject in the community, but are you guys open to collabs? Or is it something that would make sense for the boa community as far as overinflation of the snake, too many being in the population, projects, space? Let's hear your guys' take on this, because I know it's big in the retic. So
I'm not against it. I mean, I personally know people that do co-projects together. I really don't. I took an IMG male last season from a friend of mine, put him to one of my females. He didn't really do anything. He was still kind of young. I mean, he laid on her for a few weeks. I had him with her for a few months. It was the tail end of the season. He didn't get the job done. So I just basically, I gave the male back and I just saved the female for the next season. But other than that, I've always done everything myself. So if I want something that I don't have, I'll go out and get it, or I'll make a trade for it maybe with somebody who has it that doesn't have something that I got. But I'm not against it. No, I mean, there's a science to it. Like, all right, the unsaid rule is if I got the female, I breed the snake. You send me the male. You know what I mean? So very rarely will I send a full-grown female out to somebody else. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way I've seen it done, when people do it with boas. Whoever's got the adult female is the one that breeds, the other person would have to send the male to them, and the person with the female would do the actual breeding. But I'm not against it. That's cool if people want to do co-projects and split the babies and, but they're going to have to be a good friend of yours. Because let me tell you something. Not saying everyone is going to do something like this, but this is just me. But if we're going for something that's really rare, right? And I send you a male that you need to produce that really rare snake. And let's say there's 26 babies and there's 2 of those really rare ones. Am I going to get one? Do I know how many babies there are there when it was born? Nope. This person could say, yeah, I got 16. That's why I'm saying, if you are going to do it, you got to do it with someone you trust.
Yep.
Or unless someone's going to let you put a Wi-Fi camera up in the cage they're breeding in. And even then, even when the mother has babies, it's a pile of babies. So unless you get right over there, you don't know how many was there. You can grab, I don't know. I like doing everything in house. If I was going to do it, it would have to be most likely. I don't think I could send out one of my adult females to somebody else. I just don't think I could do it. But I wouldn't be scared to take someone else's male like I have once before and try it out. But, like I said, I don't know. But I have no problem with people doing it. Just do it with somebody that you feel you can really trust.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick?
That's it.
And to touch on that, I've actually had somebody do me like that, man. Actually had it. We did. I actually gave them my big female. I was going through the middle of a divorce, and I didn't have nowhere to put her. Anyways, I trusted the dude. He gave me my female back, but he ended up hiding one of the babies that it was like an IMG Motley hypo, 100% head sharp, 100% head Henry, and he actually hid it from me. So when we did the pick, I didn't see it, and then 3 months later he posted it, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I don't remember seeing that baby." He goes, "Nah, dude, it was there." I'm like, "Nah, I'm pretty sure. I looked in that tub pretty thoroughly, and I didn't see it." But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be all honest. I was just happy to have some IMGs. So it was a win. I do it for two reasons. And I actually got a breeder here, Chad Tice from Arizona. I got one of his males with my females. And I have a friend that I have done it with in a couple of years. I actually got three friends that I've done it with: Hector, Chucky, and then now Chad Tice. And I can honestly say, ever since that one time, none of my animals ever leave my house. I've had like our males are always the most expensive males getting put. Our animals are always the most expensive animals. So what I tell people is like, hey, I'm not letting that animal leave my house. But if you want to do a breeding project, you can bring yours over, and I'll be more than welcome. Especially in IMG Ghost Head Sharp, I'm not letting that leave my house. So, one of our friends, he brought his female over. 2 years in a row we paired her, or 1 year, gave him the year off, and then we did it another year. I did that to help him come up. I like to see people come up. Like I said, this is a journey, not a competition. I don't look at who I can tear down, but who can I build up along the way. I wanted to see this dude really come up. I wanted to see him get some cooler stuff. He actually got his first IMG in his house right now because of a pairing we did last year. We paired our IMG to his hypo jungle female, and he's got his first IMG ever. So it's all about helping people come up to the reason why we're doing it with Chat Sites is we want to show the community that, hey, other boa breeders can come together and work together, that it's not a competition, that it is a journey, and that, hey, there are level-headed people. There are like-minded people. And that's what we're trying to show. That's what me and Chat Sites are trying to show the community in Arizona. As soon as he gave me the mail, I came home, I let it settle in, and then I took it outside and I took pictures and I even posted it, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing ever that you and Chad Tice are doing a breeding project together. And I'm like, this is how it should be. Like, this is how the community should be, in all honesty. So I believe in it for those two reasons. But I agree with Boston. I don't ever see myself, especially a female that I put 4 years into raising, walk out of my house. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't. I can't do it. Like you said, I'll take in a male. I'll even take in someone's female and put one of my males to her. But I don't know if I could let. I don't know.
I agree, man. Even another boa breeder, I'm just like, man, I don't know. And I'm grateful that there's a breeder that's like, hey, dude, I trust you enough to let you take my male. But we've always been on the other hand is we've always had the more expensive animals. Like, so the way we looked at it as breeding and the way we do it is whoever we used to do female, but then now it's whoever has the most expensive animal. Whatever animal is the most expensive, we'll pair it, and the person that owns that animal will get first pick. 90% of the time, we're already doing all the work, and plus we got the higher end animal. So therefore, we tell people, hey, we'll do a breeding project with you, but we want first pick because one, we're doing all the work, and two, our animal is twice as much as yours. So, and it's not about the money, but that's how it helps us figure out who's gonna get what. You know what I mean? It's not always about time. It's about what you've worked hard to invest in too. So if you worked hard to invest in something, and you got the higher end, I think it's right that, you should get, and that's something I learned from boa breeders even in 2014, 2015, when I first got my first boa to raise to breed. Breeders used to tell me that all the time, like, hey, when you do breeding projects, this is the way to go about it. This is how we do it. And a lot of breeders go off of that method. So
okay, I love it. By the way, just on a side note, like, I am so excited that you and Chad are working together, man. Like, for anybody that's watching and anybody that's not familiar with Tice Reptiles and Graceful Serpents, they're both local to me. I both own productions by these two breeders. And let me tell you, like, I put these guys up against anybody as far as quality, respect, and love for the community. They're incredible. And to watch these two come together and do a co-pairing. It's absolutely incredible. It was groundbreaking in Arizona. You and Tice are the only ones I know of in Arizona that have done it outside of you and Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
So it's groundbreaking for us, and it's just the absolute excitement. I'd be like, for DNT, it'd be like if you guys like paired up with Garrett. Like I would love to see something like that.
I love Garrett. Garrett's a good dude, man.
Awesome.
I love him.
Boston, if you did something like with Kevin, just the Eastern Seaboards of the Texas, Arizona, the Eastern Seaboard combinations, it'd be absolutely incredible to see what y'all can do. And that as like a fanatic from like a collector's aspect, thinking about like the cohabs and why I asked the question is like the exact reason, like you and Chad coming together. It's exciting to think about. Okay, you've got Patrick over here that produces absolute fire. Again, I will bust out that female by the end of this live. You've got Tice that produces absolute fire. I've got one of his I'll bust out. It's to know that those two are coming together to make something. It's just like, oh man, what's going to happen? It's exciting as a fan of the certain breeders that are coming together. I mean, if Barcheck and I don't know, Nerd did something, it'd be crazy to see what they did, or Canova and Ozzy if they decided to come together.
Oh, bro, yeah, those are. That's what we got.
That would be
I didn't
pretty
even know
amazing.
Ozzy Boy bred boas, bro. Until last year, I was like, dude. And then when I found out he bred blood sharps, I was like, hey, bro. I was like, I finally get to purchase a snake from you. And it kept popping up on my timeline. And I told my wife, I was like, if that snake pops up on my timeline one more time, I'm buying it. And it was like, it was pretty expensive for a blood, bro, because it was a blood 66. He's a blood 66 pot set sharp, and he was asking $1,200, bro, which is pretty pricey for a 66 pot head. But the thing was stupid red, bro. And I just told myself, I was like, hey, if it pops up on my timeline one more time, I'm pulling the trigger. And this was after 3 days of looking at it. And after I said that, I was scrolling through my timeline, and there it is. And I hit him up. I said, hey, Ozzy Boy, I didn't know you bred boas. And he's like, yeah, man. And I was like, I need this one right here. He's like, yeah, let's work it out. And great dude, great. But his ball pythons are just, but he's a cool guy, man.
Nice.
That dude's
absolutely.
Another person I know personally and I respect in the game, and I one day would like to. I have a few snakes from him, and I'd love to do a co-project with him in the future. He used to live 10 minutes away from me, but he moved down to Connecticut. Is Jason from Jason's Exotics.
Oh,
He's
yeah, Jason's dope, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know
like
Jason
Jason
personally. He's a he's a he's a good friend. And but yeah, I would love to do something with him in the future, So who knows? Maybe.
I like Jason, man. He's
That'd be awesome.
very cool dude, man. I've never met him, but just I like how when he gets on his videos, man, he don't care what people think, bro. He understands, hey, people are gonna judge me. People are gonna got something to say. And he even says it like, hey, I know somebody's gonna say something stupid in the comments, but that's okay. That's not gonna stop me
because he's from New England.
From doing what I do, and
he don't care. He's from Boston. He don't care.
I love that. I love that about people, bro. That just like, I understand there's a Karen out there, and there's gonna be a few of them, but I'm gonna still do me, and I'm gonna still do what I love to do. And man, I love people with that passion, bro. That those people tend to be very successful.
Oh yeah, he's got a stellar collection, and he just probably invested who knows how much money into brand new Freedom Breeder racks. I mean, probably $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in racks.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's got hundreds of boas. Not just like 50, 60. He's probably got 250. Who knows? Maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's got a stellar collection.
That's
definitely.
All right,
he
so
does.
I touched on it a little bit, but I have to know what DNT. What are your feelings on the Super Dwarf? Like, where do you guys? Man, this is. I've been thinking about this I've been thinking about this all week on how I was gonna work it. I still haven't come up with like the exact question without like doing a full in-depth interview. Essentially,
that's pretty much the question you have to ask. It's just
what are our feelings?
What are our feelings about it?
Were they what we wanted to do? No. We love our mainlands. We love the size. We love the visual of a big snake. That's why we got into retakes. We love the morphs. We love the colors. Is Super Dwarfs what is becoming more popular with retakes? Yes. Do we want to appease to the community? Yes. Do we want people to be able to enjoy retics without having as much of the size? Yes. So there are those people that say, man, I love retics. I love their personalities. I love how inquisitive they are. But you know what? It's just me, and I can't handle a 10 to 12 foot male by myself. I can't handle a 14 to 16 foot female by myself. So that's when, okay, maybe we do need to start working the super dwarfs in so that we can accommodate to those people, because we do want to be able to accommodate to people who want retics but just can't handle the size. So with the super dwarfs, it does give them the capability to have a retic with a male being averaging, 7 to 9 feet or 7 to 10 feet, and a female averaging 10 to 12 instead of 14 to 16. Is it guaranteed? No. When people say this retic is, 60% super dwarf, you could have a 60% super dwarf and that female could still reach 14, 15 feet. A huge indicator that we tell people is look at the parents. The size of the parents is going to be your best indicator, because Eric Lee, I don't know if you guys know him, he is one of the super dwarf kings.
He's from Arizona.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's an Arizona boy.
Yeah. We had the pleasure of meeting Eric Lee a couple times, and he is amazing. We sat and talked with him inside DFW Reptarium for about an hour and a half, and he told us I had a 25% super dwarf that I produced, and I had a high 50% or low 60%. That 25% was smaller because the parents were incredibly smaller. Yeah. So when you have an incredibly smaller set of parents, that plays a lot in how those hatchlings are going to be sized out. So you can't always base it on a higher percentage. Having percentages is good, yes, and people want to know those percentages now. But when we tell people we are going to be producing super dwarfs, we have the size of the parents. We can show you pictures. The size of our super dwarf female right now, she's 25% Kalatoa, 12.5% Jamp. She's only 12 feet, if that. And she's 7 years old. Our male is 65% Kalatoa and 25% Jamp. He's 9 years old and just under 7 feet.
He's a little bit over. He's about 7.5. Yeah.
He's girthier though.
Yeah.
But he's small, and so is she. So when we tell people, look, these are the parents, so your female isn't going to get much larger than what ours is. Now, if you power feed her and you're doing all these things and making her large, of course she's going to get big. But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, feeding them how they're supposed to be fed, this is about the average size that you're going to get. But we don't promise sizes. I'm not like, oh, this snake is going to cap out at 7 feet.
Nobody will guarantee you a size.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's something everybody needs to read up in, because we have people constantly coming to the table and you have super dwarf, you have dwarf. And I'm like, what are you looking for specifically? Because, your super dwarfs are smaller animals. Are they going to stay 6 foot? No, they're not going to. It's very rare. So you can get super dwarfs anywhere, like we said, between 7 and 9 foot, 10 foot, and the dwarfs, literally, there's dwarfs that go up to 16 foot. You have to watch what you're getting. You have to get it from a reputable breeder. Your animals need to be registered with lineage. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with it, because, any Joe Schmo today can put, well, this is a 50% Kalatoa on my snake right now. And then all of a sudden you go home and 2 years from now, you've got a 12-foot female in your house.
Yeah, it's very easy to put a hatchling as 50% Kalatoa.
It's hard.
You're not going to know the difference.
You got to get it from a reputable breeder. Eric Lee's one of them. Garrett's another. Daniel Solis is another. Oh God, there's so many. There's a bunch of really good breeders out there who specifically, Chris McVicker's another one. Lucas Bagnara is another one. There's a few that we are friends with that, we learn from them as well, because again, it's all locality based, and it's hard. Because again, the percentages don't directly mean anything. Like she said, we have a 25% female. She's tiny, she's small, and there's 60%ers that are bigger than her. So it's a hard thing. And again, and as she said before, we go on parent sizing. It seems to be the best basis you can do, because you got to figure the baby's going to be somewhere in between there. But again, this is the thing with super dwarfs and dwarfs. There's not as many morphs as the mainlands. So right now, everything being created that's really beautiful and super duper bright and everything else are in the low percentages. I think they just started making 50% cows, and they're still hard to come by. It's everybody started out with 25% cows because now you're taking these bloodlines, and that's the sad part. The more you dilute these locality bloodlines, the more less of a super dwarf is going to carry into these animals. So that's the sad part. And even though you think just because you're bringing back into the clutch after the first season, you produce these animals, it still dilutes the blood. So it's hard. The only way you're going to get true super dwarf animals is if you stick with the localities and you breed them to themselves. Only way you're going to get it. But that's the thing. It's a lot of the localities are brown. It's not the greatest coloring in the world, and some people want smaller cows, some people want smaller purple albinos, some people want smaller this and that. It's hard. So that's the whole thing with us. We're trying to. That's why we did our homework. We've gotten our super dwarf animals from one of the most reputable breeders, like we said before, which was Chris Brownie and Vital Exotics, and his stuff is 100% legit. I mean, it was just unimaginable. I mean, I've spoken to Eric Lee about the animals that we have, and he's like, yep, I know exactly where they came from. I remember the parents. I know everything about it. Your stuff's good. Don't worry about it. So it's that's what we're producing. But again, we're trying to make the colorful stuff and the nice stuff. So we're going to have to introduce the mainlands to the parents, of what we have. But over time, we'll be able to get them to a manageable size. Are we going to have 6 foot, 7 foot snakes? Probably not, but a 12 foot, 11 foot female is a lot easier to handle than a 14, 16 footer. And a 9 to 10 or 11 footer male that's even thinner than a normal mainland is just way much easier to handle. So that's the whole thing. It's, we tell people, do your homework, know where your breeders are coming from, get lineage. If your breeders can't show you paperwork, then I would not recommend buying from. So that's the biggest thing with us.
We have paperwork on all of our super dwarfs. So I mean, it's something that I almost feel is necessary. I will say Gavin Bowe produced some of the most beautiful dwarfs that I've seen. He doesn't keep paperwork. He doesn't keep percentages. He's super old school. We have a 2.5-year-old female from him. She's a dwarf citrus marble albino tiger, and she is smaller than our 7 foot male that we just put as a first time breeder this year. But I'm trying to feed her, but she just won't grow. But it's the size of the parents again. So if I was to put a high percentage male with her, I'm only going to know the percentages that I'm going to get from him. But those babies are going to come out smaller than they would with a dwarf female that's 13 feet because she's already small. So percentages aren't always going to be your number one indicator.
Okay. I love it. I knew I was going to open a can of worms with that one. I was really excited about it. I love. Yeah. I'm in CMB all the time. I mean, I'm really good friends with Bill over there. I love the crew. I love the shop. I've been following Garrett and Eric Lee for a long time. I mean, we were asked a question a while ago, like what our name is, the whole backstory behind it. And I mean, I don't do stickers. I don't do shirts. I don't do anything right now. And I mean, I want to be a lot like Eric Lee at Eric Lee. I mean, Eric Lee doesn't have shirts. He doesn't have stickers. He doesn't have a huge social media following. But you say Eric Lee, and anybody that's anybody in the retic community and the super dwarf community knows exactly who that man is and what he's done for us coming into the game and everybody that's in the game now. So that, I want to get your guys' take on it and how you felt about it, where you're going with it. Holy crap, Patrick.
What is that?
So this is an IMG Hypo Jungle Molly, 100% head sharp, 100% head Henry.
Nice. That's very nice.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful too.
Probably one of the best bottles we've produced Definitely the best IMG combo we've ever produced, and it's my 4-year-old nephew's snake.
Oh yeah, that thing's
That's a
badass.
lucky nephew. Very lucky nephew.
Sick.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love super dwarfs. I do. Are we going to be producing them, like solely and cut out mainlands? Never. Absolutely not. But we'll work them in. We'll have 1 or 2 clutches a season if we can. And if there's a season where we don't have them, it's not the end of the world. We want to produce what we love, and giving the people a snake that can accommodate if they can't, do the size, then we'll do that too. But we're still going to produce super dwarfs that we love, not just any super dwarf to sell.
Those are incredible, Boston.
For real, those things are
those
gorgeous
gorgeous.
too.
Or those
Sassy
leopard?
little things.
Molly,
Yeah, Motley.
you have any leopard stuff?
A little bit. I'm breeding a leopard male right now.
Nice. We made a really big name for our IMG stuff because that's what we started off with. We started a lot of IMG, so we made a lot of our name from IMG boas.
Yeah, I would say IMG in your name comes up quite a bit.
A lot of people like, hey, bro, got any IMG? I'm like, we do not for sale though. Our IMG stuff sold like extremely quick, and for some of the prices that we had stuff at, just because of the rare combinations, like that right there, that has the potential of making a few worlds first, because just the combinations. But when we first had that litter, I had no idea how to price those things. I was like, when on Morph Market, couldn't even find one to compare price to. So I had to talk to some bigger breeders, and they're like, yeah, bro, I want to sell something like that less than, a few $1,000s. So pretty sick. What do you work with, Sharp, or do you work with Call? Do you work with both?
I work with Cal and Orange
Cal?
Gasm Pastel and Jungle a lot.
Okay.
So a lot of these, one of these is an albino Orange Gasm Pastel. The other one's Lipstick Line, Orange Gasm Pastel, Junglos. So I work a lot with these. I make a lot of these every year.
As promised, hold on, the lighting in here.
That thing's cool.
He said, that thing's sick, bro.
Yeah, produced by the one, the only Graceful Serpents. Her freaking hold still, come on. Her colors, like the camera will never ever do her justice. Her colors,
No, the camera never does.
This is actually this is the first bow I ever bought, and it was from Patrick. And this is, when I talk about like the trophy of my collection, I would argue as far as
coloration.
So here's her brother, bro. This is the one. He's not breeding right now, so I went ahead and pulled him out.
Oh yeah, that's real nice.
He's a
look at that
red pastel, Sunglow Celtic Sharp.
Oh wow, that one's real nice.
Yes, I have a hognose car. Yeah.
I have a hognose. I'm back in there with his girlfriend.
The camera, sure. Yeah, the camera doesn't give lighting. And Levi doesn't have a ring light either, so.
Yeah, we're trying to bring over one of our dwarfs. He's a male.
I didn't say it. Edith did.
You got it, man?
Oh, look, I got this. It says.
Hold on.
While she's getting the fake out, I'm going to shout out our sponsors real quick. So I'm going to do that real quick. I want to shout out our sponsors, Baby Jesse's Reptile World, for sponsoring this show. Also, Aloha Creations, our sticker go-to girl. She makes our stickers, my stickers, my logos. She makes glow-in-the-dark magnets now, glow-in-the-dark stickers. So hit her up.
Made the badass flyer in the background to everyone to come.
Yep.
All right. So this is a 3.5-year-old male.
Whoa.
Super dwarf.
Super dwarf. He is a lower percentage, but you can see how small he is, and he's ready to breed.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
Damn, that's
So-
gorgeous. I want
And he's
that.
about the thickness of our male that was our first time breeder this year. So
They're about the same size.
they're about the same size.
That's incredible. Who is he produced by?
He's produced by Chris McVicker.
hmm
Chris Murphy.
He's just getting his head shut off if that's what.
Yeah, he's another big super dwarf guy. I mean, some of the stuff he puts out is phenomenal stuff. And the one thing about him is he's very he's not expensive as most people are as far as with the super dwarf stuff. So he's very easy to attain and one of the nicest guys in the world. And you can definitely get a super dwarf from him on the cheaper side.
Man, I'm like, everybody's pulling out snakes.
It's show and tell, man. Come on now.
Hell
Oh,
yeah. I'm
Well, I
enjoying
just pulled her
it
back
because
out.
these Morrison patterns are freaking amazing.
So that's a 2-year-old female right here. Orange Gasm Pastel Albino. So
Orange
really
Gasm.
nice. You know, hopefully she'll grow,
Yeah, babe.
another 1.5, 2 years.
Yeah.
I'll probably, I'll probably put her to work.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna bring
think
up one of the most expensive ones in a couple of seconds. Hold on.
What is that, Patrick? Is that black one?
Yeah,
Oh, that one's my favorite, dude. That's my favorite out of all of them.
Yeah, now imagine that like in a like a calico or a paradox look or even a pied. Oh my god.
Man,
yeah,
that's
make black
gorgeous.
panda. I call them pandas.
Yeah,
Call 'em
literally.
Panda fries is what I
Yeah.
would call them.
Just a regular
But
bitch.
yeah,
That thing would be ridiculous.
let's see.
I think it's beautiful. Man, I love that thing.
And then her belly's just
Blacked
really
out.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Very nice, bro. Very nice.
Yeah, those are pretty. The bows are nice, man. Bows are nice.
I like the all black ones. Those are
Try
my
to tell
favorite.
everybody who wants to handle a retake to get a bow first for a little while.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're great
That's nice.
intermediates. This one's produced by Tice Reptiles. So I showed Patrick's, now I'm showing Chad's.
So Eden said fire.
And that is my project, is to pair the male, which is the other bow I purchased from Tice Reptiles, to Patrick's Red Pastel. Pretty excited about that one.
Oh, yes.
So this is an oscillate produced by Aubrey Pruitt.
Yeah.
You can't really see, but the iridescence and this snake is pure silver.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the light on it, but I can't.
That's
You're
yeah,
good.
look at
You
that.
can see it.
Wow.
That's gorgeous.
yeah.
How much is something like that going for?
Right now, I mean, I guess I could say the price.
Yeah.
He told me I'm allowed to, so that's 15,000 right there.
All right, now I have a question, right? Now, all of us breeders here, do you agree with snakes being priced that high? 15, 20,
Yeah.
25,000 a piece?
Yeah.
You do? It just
mean-
kind of makes it like unreachable for the public. You know what I mean? People like us who invest in this as a business and a hobby. But how many people are going to spend a normal person, other than a breeder or a hobbyist?
But that's-
Even
I
if I
think
was to
that's
hit
one
those
point.
calicos, I don't even know what I'd price them for, because it's like, do I want to? I don't know. Would I want to pay 10, 15,000 for a snake? I mean, if I really wanted it, yeah. But it almost makes it unreachable for normal everyday people. But are they for normal everyday people? That's another question.
I think that's one point where it makes it okay. This snake is priced because really the only people that should be having them right now are breeders that are going to have plans with them.
Exactly. Yes. So
Will they get cheaper with time? Yes.
Oh,
Will
yeah.
they get cheaper as more people make them? Yes. But I think when a snake first comes out and it's a world's first, or there's a few of them and they're priced like that, I absolutely think we've sold a few of them, 2 or 3 of them. And it's to reputable breeders who, have plans for these snakes.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree with it. I mean, would I go spend that money if I had it on a snake? Probably, so I can make a world's first. But I mean, as just someone who is looking to engage in a retic for a pet, absolutely not. And
Yeah.
I mean, we bring the oscillate only to specific shows, because we know that maybe this area is not going to have that type of money. Okay, maybe this area will have a few people who might be interested in this, but yeah, I think there's a price point for everyone, and we try to hit that point as well. Dax loves Frankenstein snakes, so he wanted to create snakes that are 6-7 morphs and priced up there, just like with our snows. When you produce a snow, you're not going to find a snow that's less than $3,500 to $4,000.
Yeah.
Dax wanted to produce snakes like that, and then I told him the importance of being able to accommodate every single person with the morphs that we're enjoying, but you've got to have a price point that's approachable for everyone. You've got to have that price point where if someone wants a normal, they want to spend $150, $200, you can do that. You got to have that price point where if someone's like, all right, I'm ready to spend $1,500, $2,000, they can be able to drop that money too. But I think having that range is so good because you're hitting everyone in that market as well.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's why we have lower end, middle end, and then a higher end stuff. Sometimes,
Yep.
like we sold $3,500 boas, but it took them a lot longer to sell than like a $200 boa. So we try to keep that same thing, especially being LLC and having so many animals, and with actually being like a business with this, we have to have that, those lower points, those middle points, and then hey, if we have to hold on to a boa. But in all honesty, once a boa hits a year and a half, especially female, male or female, and it don't sell, we just keep it, because at that point it's just worth the investment.
I'm the
to
same
more
way.
keep it.
Doesn't
So
if a male doesn't sell by 18 months, I'm keeping them. If a female
Yep.
doesn't sell by 18 months to 2 years, I'd probably keep her too.
Yep, same here. All right, guys, I gotta go. I guess my dad's having some tarantula problems at his house, and he's yelling at my son. He's all scared. He's like, "Come help me! Come get these tarantulas out of my house, bro!"
I'd be doing it too.
He's one of those guys. I got a tarantula here. I love my Mexican fire lake, and he knows I'm the weird one, so he's like, "You're the only one I can call out of all the boys." I'm like, "All right, super weird man on the way."
Super weird man on the way.
All right, Patrick. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for the
Yeah,
Thank you
knowledge.
guys for having me, man.
Thanks,
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you guys.
Thank you. It's great meeting you, Patrick.
Appreciate it, bro.
God bless you guys. Have a good
Good
night.
luck this season.
Thanks, man. You
Yeah,
too,
everybody.
brother.
Thank you.
All right, later.
So we're getting a little across the 2-hour mark here. We'll wrap it up with I'm gonna hit it with two wrap-up questions. Unfortunately, Patrick had to skedaddle. The first one being, do you guys have any questions for me or Chris?
No, I enjoyed the show.
Thanks for asking.
I liked it. It was good conversation, good topics.
Awesome.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. I like that you guys included different communities.
Yeah.
It was,
We need to start doing that more.
yeah. I think more people need to do that instead of just sticking with, what they know. MJ does it a lot. He branches out to all the different communities, which I really enjoy. It gets different perspectives, and it really opens your eyes to just meeting new people. So I thank you for that. It was awesome.
Awesome.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. That means a lot, actually.
It does.
Rep
That's
it.
huge.
We need Chris to come to more shows, man.
Yes.
But I am gonna.
We'll be
Hold on.
at the next Texas one.
Oh yeah,
You got till February.
Arlington, yeah.
If I fly
I'll
to
be there.
Texas, we're going.
I'll be there. But what I'm gonna say is, when I came into the ball python hobby, when I came in, there was a lot of negativity, like you guys were saying, bashing on each other and all that. But ever since I started like bringing in people, mixing them around, getting them with all the positive people, just loving them, showing them, lifting them up. I say the community is starting to change a little. People say there's a lot of change since I started doing that.
Yeah.
And I just want to be positive, like all the way around. Like I even do a woman's life on in the middle, like towards the end of the month, so I can let the women speak.
See, that's cool. Yeah, I would like to do that. That would be nice.
You're not a woman.
No. I meant I would like to do that. Like, no, it's nice to do. Not me do the show, but
I just had to put
I
that in
meant
there.
to. I meant to. That's nice that you do that, because you know what, I'm trying. I've been trying to get all the women retic breeders out there, or the women who were married to or associated with retic breeding guys, and like get them to like Arlington and just have an end cap booth with all the females there selling who has their husband stuff, their stuff, and just having them kill it. No guys, just to let the girls do it. I think that would be cool as hell, you know?
Oh, I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
I could definitely set that up. With if she wants to do that, she could run that, and I'll just get off the thing and let her run it.
Huge shout out. I mean, Amanda Bowe, she runs In Your Face Exotics, and she is such an inspiration. Brittany Pruitt as well, Aubrey Pruitt's wife. Sarah McVicker. I mean, Sarah Wellens with Amanda. They're all amazing women, and I feel so honored to like be accepted into their group. Amanda and Sarah, I call them my sister wives. But it really is such a strong community, and it's great to see women in here. Would I love to see more women in the community? Absolutely. And I know that'll be with time. I just think that naturally some women aren't as boisterous and aren't feeling, as they get a lot of pressure, and they don't feel as open to being out in the community as men do, because a lot of people, I'll say it right now, everyone sees Jax and they're like, oh, you're DNT, and I'm like, I'm the fucking T. Hello. I'm the T here.
She does a lot of stuff.
So it does tend to be like men more in the industry, and being able to see more women come forward is really awesome. But I love the community, and I love the women, and I love everyone else that we get to meet. So you guys doing multiple communities was really cool. And I mean, I got to learn some new things. Shit, I didn't know that paradoxing was in Samboas. That was cool.
That's
Appreciate that.
the only one that we know. Yeah, that's the only one. Ball pythons are getting there. There's a couple of projects in the works that are going to be. I mean, I can speak on it. I keep forgetting I can speak on this. I know for a fact. I don't know who has the project now, but a friend of mine here in Arizona had it. The paradox gene is reproducible in ball pythons. I will say that now. I had the sister to the project. I've seen the project up close in person. It just hasn't hit. I don't know who has it now, but it's out there. And when it hits, it's going to take the industry by storm. I got away from it just because it's not, ball pythons aren't my thing. I didn't know if the sister would even prove out, but I know the other person in another state has the other sister. There was 3 of them. But they found it, and I think it'll hit probably next year or the year after. It'll be a proven project, but ball pythons are there, and those are the only 2 that I know of for sure that paradox is 100% reproducible.
That's awesome.
When that one hits, it's going to be incredible, because I'm like, I knew that one. But as a final wrap-up thing, what is one positive message that you guys could give to the industry overall, not one specific group, but the industry? What is one positive thing you could tell everybody?
Everybody needs to just come together, especially with everything that's happening in Florida, and you know what I mean, just everything that's happening, them trying to take away our rights with that bill a few months ago. So everyone kind of just needs to come together and support the trade as a whole, because if you don't, there ain't going to be a trade for any of us, whether you're keeping fish, birds, whatever you're keeping, worms, snakes. You won't be able to keep anything anymore. You'd be lucky if you have a house cat and a dog.
Yeah.
I would just say be kind.
That's another good one.
Plain and simple. Like, be respectful. Don't base your first impression or assumptions on anyone just because you don't know what's going on in their life. So just always be kind.
Yeah, it's like that movie Roadhouse. You ever seen that one?
Yes.
Where he's like, just smile.
Just smile. That's all you gotta do.
Just smile.
Just smile.
Just smile.
Smile and nod. That's all you gotta do.
Smile.
What
away,
I do when
bro.
Dax
Smile
talks.
away.
Smile and nod.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you
Yeah, I
guys.
want to thank you guys, DNT Retail. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you, Boston Boys. I want to thank Patrick. KPG Snakes didn't make it, unfortunately, but it was still fun. Always learning new stuff. And like I said, I just want to thank our sponsors as well, Baby Jesse's Reptile World and Aloha Creations. I appreciate you guys, and I'm going to let my co-host get us out.
Anybody who's still watching, if you say you watch this show and you heard me say this, 20% off a boa. It's done. But you got to be watching the show. Got to have
There you
eyes
go.
to hear me say this.
Heard it first.
Right?
Again, thank you to everybody that came on. Thank you to Patrick. Thank you to Boston. Thank you to DNT. Would like to shout out US Arc before we go out. We've all talked about it multiple times. US Arc and US Arc Florida. One team, one fight overall. We need to remember to come together as a community. Doesn't matter what we keep. If we want to continue doing what we do, we got to support them. And, again, thank you guys for coming on. This has been one of the best lives, if not the best live so far. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah,
Well, you guys made it happen.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Have a great night.
Peace.
Good. Thank you.